So this video is going to be all about my childhood and my transgender feelings that I was having back then. I wasn't one of those kids that was insistent from a young age that they were the wrong gender. I just sort of had a bunch of different things going on that I didn't really understand what was happening, and I just felt kind of confused about all these feelings that I was having. I just didn't really understand what I was going through. So the first time that I remember where I dressed like a girl or something was when I was about 5 years old, and my sister dressed me up in a dress and a wig, and she did my makeup and everything too. She made me come outside and play with all the neighborhood kids and tell them that I was her cousin, and it was kind of fun. I remember I was like running around and having fun, and some of the people knew who I was and the other people didn't know, and it was fun. I remember I wanted to do it again, but it just didn't happen, and yeah. So flash forward a few years until I was about 10 years old, and I had my hair down to my ears, and I was fairly often mistaken for a girl by people who didn't know me. Like I remember I was at this birthday party one time, and one of the other kids there thought I was a girl like the whole time, and about halfway through the party she referred to me as she, and I was like, I'm not a girl, and it was just embarrassing. And every time people thought I was a girl, it was embarrassing. And I don't know whether it was like, maybe it was a combination by the way I acted and the way that I looked, maybe, but I'm not really 100% sure. Also around the same age, I saw Sailor Moon for the first time, and I really liked it. And I had another friend who liked it too, and we started playing Sailor Moon, the game, where we would just pretend to be different characters from Sailor Moon and run around in my friend's basement. And it was really fun. I'd be Sailor Moon, and I remember this one time clearly where I was jumping up and down the bed, and I was just saying like, I'm a princess, I'm a princess. And I just remember that I felt so good, and I liked doing it so much. And I asked my friend to play the game quite a few times because I had so much fun. And I found out a little while later that he had told some of the other boys at school about it, and they had started making fun of me for liking Sailor Moon and liking to play Sailor Moon. And again, I felt really embarrassed, and I started denying that I did any of that. And I think that was really the beginning for me of starting to suppress any feminine interests or any feminine mannerisms or anything, because people would think I was a girl fairly often, and my friends would make fun of me for liking Sailor Moon, so I just tried to hide all that from people, and it just became that I wouldn't show any interest in anything feminine, and that I would like even go like overboard in like trying to make it look like I'm not interested in that kind of stuff. And yeah, it was totally just the beginning of like a lot of repression. Okay, so now a couple years on, when I was about 12 or 13 years old, I started to get the urge to go into the bathroom and hold my genitals down and look into the mirror and just make myself look really, really flat. And I don't know, like I wasn't doing it and thinking, I want to be a girl, I want to be a girl. I was just doing it. It was just an urge that I got. And I knew that it was making myself look like I had a girl's body or a more female body, but I just didn't know really why I was doing it. I kind of thought maybe I'm just curious about girls' bodies, and because I've never seen a naked girl in real life before, so maybe that's what's going on. But I didn't really know. But then one day I noticed that there was this line that was in between my scrotum and my ass, and it kind of looked like stitch marks. And then I looked at it and I got scared, and I was thinking, what if I had a vagina and it was sewn up? Like, what if I was a girl and that they changed me into a boy? Like, maybe when I was born, the doctors had done something to me to turn me into a boy, and that my parents had never told me. And I kind of knew that it was a ridiculous idea, but somewhere in the back of my head I was always wondering, like, what if? What if that is true? What if I actually am a girl that was turned to a boy? And it really scared me, and I was afraid to ask my parents because I wondered, what if it is true? I was afraid that, what was that going to bring up? So I never brought it up with my parents, and the idea just kind of sat in the back of my head for a few years, and then I eventually forgot about it. But it definitely was a really big thing in my head for a while, and it was something that I was always like secretly scared of. And then when I was about 13, I found a pair of my sister's old underwear in my closet, and I don't know why it was there, but I put it on and I really liked it. It just felt so good. I just felt, I don't know, I just loved like the tightness of it and just how it went like right between my legs. And I also found an old swimsuit of hers, a one-piece swimsuit, and I really liked that too because it was so tight on my body and it just gave me more of a feminine shape, and I just really liked it. Really liked the tightness of it. I was also getting really into like duct taping myself down there to make myself really flat, which is kind of hurt taking it off when I would do it, but I don't know, I just had this urge to make myself look flat down there, and it's hard to describe, but I just wanted to do it, and yeah. So around the same time, I was also getting into masturbating and stuff since I was that age, and I was also getting into bondage, which is kind of weird. I was kind of like a kinky kid, and I would tie myself up and while wearing a swimsuit or something, and while everyone was out of the house, and I just have to make sure that I got out before anyone got home. So it was a bit of a thrill, and I think about it all the time. Like when I was at school, I'd be like thinking like, oh, everyone's gonna be out of the house tonight. Here's my chance. Like I can do this to myself, and I don't know. It was really fun and it was thrilling and stuff. But it sort of linked this dressing like a girl to kink, and it just became this total fetish. And that's just what my desire to dress became. I think that's like what my desire to be a girl just became, just totally this fetish. And yeah. But I remember when I was a kid and a teenager, I was quite often jealous of the things that girls got to do. Like, I remember there's these commercials where it was saying like how girls can do anything boys can do, and I was just thinking like, where's the commercial for saying boys can do anything girls can do? And I always remember I thought it was unfair that girls could join Boy Scouts, but a boy couldn't join Brownies, which is like the girl equivalent, and I always just found that was unfair, and I found it was unfair that girls could hit boys, but boys couldn't hit girls, and it just felt like, I just felt unfair about a lot of, I felt like a lot of these things were unfair. And I also, when I was in elementary school, I had lots of friends who were girls, but as soon as I got to junior high, things got weird. Like I just didn't know what to do around girls anymore. It felt like there's this expectation for me to ask them out or whatever, and I don't know, I just didn't know how to do that, and I just felt like everyone else had learned about this somewhere and that I had no idea what to do, and I just started to feel really awkward when I started going through puberty, and I just didn't know how to act around girls anymore. And I know it's a fairly normal teenage thing to feel awkward around the opposite sex, but I really think a lot of it was to do that I felt uncomfortable in the male role, and I had all these feelings going on in the back of my head. Plus, whenever I had crushes on girls, it would always end up with me fantasizing about them forcing me to wear their clothes, and like forcing me to be a girl almost. Like, I used to fantasize about this girl gluing her clothes onto me and like making me wear her clothes all the time. And because I had these feelings going on in my head, I felt like I wouldn't be able to tell a girl about it because she'd think it was so weird. So I never had girlfriends when I was in high school or junior high, and I actually didn't get my first girlfriend until I was finished second year of university, and I was living in another city, and it was kind of a mistake because we were roommates. Like, we lived together and we started going out with each other, and then we just like, I never got any privacy, I never got any time to myself, and it just didn't work out. So and one time, a couple times actually, she said that I was too much of a girl, which is kind of funny. Just because of the way I acted. And I think she kind of thought maybe I was gay or something, but I don't know. I guess like my girl self just would kind of come out. I don't know. Anyway, so during my teenage years, I was tying myself up and dressing a lot, like pretty much every weekend I was doing it. And then when it was time to go to university, I thought I could just stop doing it. Like, I could just finish it, that I just could get out of my system and I'd be done. And I did stop doing it for a while, and because I was so busy when I was in university and I was living in a different city and I just didn't have any any clothes to wear or the privacy to do it, and I just stopped for quite a while. But after third year of university, I got a job in Germany, and I was working there for 8 months, and I finally had a lot of time to myself, and I just started getting the desire to do this again, and I started getting the desire to tie myself up and dress like a girl again, and I did it, and I started having lots of fun. But again, I felt like I could just get it out of my system and then I would be finished with it. But I couldn't get it out of my system this time. I got rid of all my stuff when I left Germany, because I bought like another swimsuit and everything, and I like threw it away when I left Germany, and I'm like, okay, I'm done with that now. But when I got back to Canada, I couldn't stop thinking about it still, and during my whole last year of university, I just thought about it so much. And when I finally got to the end of university, I finally went to a thrift store and started buying girls' clothes, and that's where I started to getting to me where I am now. Actually cover from the end of my university to where I am now in my 16th vlog, so you can watch that if you want to find out more information what was happening between then. But yeah, now you're pretty much up to date on how my transgender feelings started from when I was a kid until now. Another thing is that when I started puberty, I started not feeling attractive anymore. I started to feel like I wasn't good looking anymore. And when I was a kid, people always used to say I was really cute. But that just seemed to stop happening when I went through puberty, and I just started to feel ugly. And that lasted until I started dressing after university. I just didn't feel very attractive, and I didn't feel very confident in the way I looked, and it made it really hard to get into relationships with people just because I wasn't very confident with myself. But now that I dress, I just feel so much more confident, and I feel a lot more attractive than I used to. So that's awesome. Anyway, yeah, so that's basically my life story in a nutshell. So I hope you guys liked it, and I'll talk to you guys later. Okay, bye.